Hello everyone, Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH guide. Before we get into the video, I would like to say that there are only 2 days left for you all to join ASLF's The Million Mile 2022 to help fight against childhood cancer. There'll be more information. Just click on the link I will have in the description. I'll talk about it more at the end of the video. But for now, let's get into this commander real quick. That way I can get to it. Also, like and subscribe. Please keep the subscriber count going up. I like this to be a full-time job where I cover a topic that I really enjoy, and you guys can make that happen. So please subscribe. And Mike, hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another one of my videos. Share this video along with other videos on my channel, especially this one because it has a link and some previous other videos that I've recently posted on this channel. In the comment section, you can make an EDH request for a commander that has not already been featured on this channel, or a style of a commander deck for a commander that has not already been featured on this channel. So for this instance, the Red Terror Dragons, or Red Terror instants and sorceries. That hasn't been featured on the channel yet. So you can make that request. You can also make requests for like standard decks or like MTG arena content. You have the power. Just type it into the comment section. And even if you don't want to make a request, comment anyways. I like the feedback from you guys. Shows your support. With that said, let's get into this video. As soon as my mouse stops having problems, you know what, it'll be fine. So the Red Terror, what we want to do is deal as much damage with red sources we control as much as possible, to as many things as possible, as much as we can within the turn, to buff up the Red Terror as much as we can. So what I've decided to do this is to play Goblins. So we're going to speed through this real quick. It's going to be a whole bunch of Goblin cards that make tokens, or like deal damage, or like other non-Goblin cards that help us deal damage, or like trigger off the Red Terror more. So Crinkle Mob Boss to make a bunch of Goblin tokens. Zozu the Punisher punishes landfall players, since they like to play multiple lands within a turn. And the red source dealing, and the damage dealt can come from anywhere and can be directed at anyone. As long as it's red, the Red Terror is going to get buffed up. So even as Zosu the Punisher hits us, that's a red source dealing damage to a player, so the Red Terror is going to get a +1/+1 counter. Goblin Bombardment is another way we can deal damage with a red source. Thresh Taunter, same thing, can deal a bunch of damage. Fashalik Mons deals damage as our goblins die, as our goblin creatures die, and can sacrifice a goblin we control to make 2 more. Hound Half Heart Goblin Tactician. We can sacrifice our goblins to deal damage whenever they are blocked, and we can sacrifice mountains to create goblin creature tokens. Kiki Mirror Breaker to make a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature we control. Need I say more? Ishi Akai Crack Shot. If our opponents are playing Spirit Tribal or Arcane spells, they're going to be dealt damage. And Spirit Tribal does exist. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord to buff up our goblins and can deal damage. Can end up dealing a lot of damage to a target within a turn. Grand Cotin Street Kingpin to make even more goblins. Goro Disciple of Raizu to give our creatures haste and to make 5/5s with flying. Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs, to kind of tax our opponent for if they want to attack us. Because whenever creature and opponent controls attacks, if we're the defending player, we create a 3/3 unless that creature's controller pays 3 generic. Goblin Chieftain has haste and gives other goblin creatures we control +1/+1 and haste. Goblin King gives our goblins mountain walk and +1/+1. Squee Dubious Monarch can make more tokens and can be cast from our graveyard. Goblin Warchief cheapens our goblin spells and gives our goblins haste. Goblin Rabble Master forces all of our goblins to attack, creates goblin tokens, and it gets buffed up whenever it attacks. Outpost Siege can be used to help us find stuff, but we're probably going to be picking the dragon side, because then Outpost Siege will deal 1 damage to target creature or player whenever creature we control leaves the battlefield. Skirt Prospector can be used to sacrifice goblins of ours to create mana. Goblin Raise Runners can buff itself up as we sacrifice lands, and we can have it deal a bunch of damage at the end of the turn. Muxus Goblin Grandee can get us a whole bunch of goblins off of the top 6 cards of our library and busts itself up as it attacks. Legion War Boss creates goblins with haste and forces them to attack. It also has mentors. Legion War Boss also has mentor, so it can buff up our smaller goblins. We're an instigator just to put out more goblins, and it has double strike, which means the red terror will be buffed up twice, because it is whenever a red source you control deals damage to a permanent or player, and if it is more than once, but like separate times, so like one instigator with having double strike means that is 2 separate times it deals damage, so that is 2 separate triggers for the red terror to get buffed up. Goblin Trash Master can buff up all of our goblins, and we can use goblins to destroy artifacts. Caterwauling Bogart essentially gives our goblins menace, also our elemental creatures menace as well. Fury Stroke Giant allows when it enters the battlefield, it gives our creatures the ability to tap and deal 2 damage to target creature or player until the end of turn. And this has persist, so it'll come back as soon as it dies. Bogart Shenanigans. As our goblins die, as more and more of our goblins die, we can have Bogart Shenanigans deal more and more damage to other players. Perfios God of the Forge. As more and more creatures enter the battlefield and are in our control, Perfios deals more and more damage to each of our opponents. Burn at the Stake can just kill someone. Goblin Sharpshooter is for like aristocrat decks. Doesn't untap during your untap step, but whenever creature dies, you untap Goblin Sharpshooter, and it can tap to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. We can get multiple pings out of this, as you would call it, which means multiple red terror triggers, buffing up the red terror quite possibly a lot, like giving it possibly 6 counters or more within a turn. Who knows? Enter the Warrens can just give us a bunch of goblins, because most of our goblin spells in this deck are pretty cheap to begin with. Valhin to give us a bunch of mana. Voracious Dragon wants to devour goblins, so this fits perfectly, and it'll get nice and big and strong. Not to mention, when it enters the battlefield, It deals twice. It deals damage to target creature or player equal to twice the number of goblins it devoured. Praise Caesar Dragon can also deal a bunch of damage. Terror of Mount Velas gives all of herself double strike when it enters the battlefield and has double strike and flying itself. Chancellor of the Forge for just a bunch more goblins. This is the Web of War for a temporary buff and haste whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control. Goblin Lackey can get out more goblins. Skirk Drill Sergeant can get us more goblin permanent card, more goblins out if a goblin we control is to die. Goblin Battle Jester can help us circle in for the kill. Kindred Charge could just end the game. Mirror March for more tokens. Electropotence for more damage. Impact Tremor, same thing. Tunnel Ingus. Again, hardcore counter to landfall players since they want to play multiple lands in a turn. Tunnel Ingus will punish them for that by dealing damage to them. Warstorm Surge can also deal a bunch of damage. I accidentally put impact tremors in here for a second time for some reason. So you could replace that with something like Coat of Arms, buff up everyone. Sure, it's not a red source for damage, but it's well worth it. Vicious Shadows really punishes players who like to draw cards as our creatures die more and more. Then we have Spiteful Prankster, which is just whenever another creature dies, whether it's ours or our opponents. Spiteful Prankster will deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, excuse me. Then we have Gitu Encampment, which can become a creature, so a source of red damage. Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, highly recommend for this deck because you're mono red. Not to mention, it's a red source dealing damage, so it will count for the red terror. Sokenzan, Crucible of Defiance, can create tokens for us. Colorless. Orb of Mine creates us a red token. Spine Rock Knoll, we're mono red. You would know why we have this in here because we're gonna deal a bunch of damage. So Hideaway is gonna be easy to get out. Deno the Bugbear can turn itself into a creature that when that creature attacks, it creates other goblins that are also red. Hellion Crucible can make a 4/4 that is red with haste. I said Watchtower for land drops because we're not in green, so we may fall behind. And the rest of it is just mountains. And with that said, as the end of this EDH guide starring the Red Terror, I know I couldn't find any infinite combos. Probably could, but what matters is that you, by clicking on the link I will have in the description, you can help Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation for Childhood Cancer fight against childhood cancer and find a way to possibly cure it by getting involved, finding out on ways to give, donating, of course, finding out about ALSF, childhood cancer, where the money goes, special events, and other important information, especially for the Million Mile 2022, which is ending in just 2 days. So get involved while you can, but you'll still be able to help even if you don't get involved in Million Mile. You can still get involved by donating directly. More information will be awaiting you if need be once you get to this website by clicking on the link I will have in the description. With that said, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. Keep the subscriber count going up. I think it is 74 of you who are currently subscribed, and you can be one of those people. So subscribe and share this video along with other videos from my channel with other people, especially this one and the previous others that I have posted on this channel that have that link to ASLF, so that they can get involved and help spread the link by any means, spread the word. We want to help out. And comment on this video Like I said, you can make an EDH request, standard request, MTG Arena content request, or if you just want to, you can make a comment for positive feedback. I like either from you guys. And hit the notification bell that way you don't miss another one of my videos. I think that pretty much covers it. See you next time.